Alright guys, hello and welcome to the next episode of Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. Today we are going to be discussing some ongoing events. And joining me today again is Ethan. How you doing, Ethan?
Oh, pretty good.
Good. You sound a little tired now.
Yeah, it's raining. It's a dreary day. Can't go anywhere because the government says I can't.
Have we reached that point now?
Well, see, I was fine with staying home, but now because they tell me to, I don't want to.
You know, the introverts are loving this.
Well, see, I was one of them. Now it's just that I'm being told to do it. It's like, well, no, I'm not going to do it.
I know, man. Yeah. Aside from it's raining, that's the only thing that's keeping me out. But
yeah, it's like because I could be, working on my hearse or whatever, but nope, rain.
Yep. You have a 1968, right?
Yes, 68 millimeter.
Millimeter hearse, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And you've had this exact car 3 times now?
Two.
I thought
sold it to a guy in New York and then bought it out of Arizona 7 years later.
Tracked it all the way down, had it shipped back, right?
Yep.
That's pretty cool, man. Is it in any better condition than when you left it?
The guy in New York pretty much wrecked it, so it needs a lot of body work and everything like that.
Now, see, the upside to that would have been if the guy that you sold it to had fixed it up and then you bought it back for less.
Well, he did take care of the suspension, which was one of the reasons I sold it in the first place, so at least that's done.
There you go. It's got to be some shining light through the clouds, I guess, then.
Yep, yeah, pretty much the mechanical work is done. I just have to do the body now, so pros and cons.
So we talked about you and stuff. We talked about everybody else, and so it's time to get to my life right now. So with this whole COVID-19 coronavirus thing, you see all these memes online about working from home and bringing your work home with you and stuff, right?
The world might be ending, but the memes have been fantastic.
I agree. Yeah. So here's the thing is, I've brought my work home with me, it appears. So I work 11-hour shifts at my day job. And I came home on Wednesday night. And okay, so we've talked a little bit about the van that we're working on, right?
Yes.
So we have this van, and we're going to be using it for paranormal investigations and stuff. And it has 360 spotlighting. It has 360 video, audio surveillance recording on it, and everything. It's going to be a really great tool for us out in the field, and it has remote cameras we can run and everything. And so I've been working on this. Ethan's been helping, and we've had a couple other people working on this too. So this past week, I finally drilled the hole in the roof of this van, right? And I ran out the plug for the wiring and everything, and I haven't fully got it sealed up. So I was a little bit worried on Wednesday night because it was raining. So I decided that when I got home I had to go out and check that, right?
Yep.
So I got home Wednesday night at exactly 12:40 in the morning, and I got out of my car, walked across my front yard, up the stairs to my porch, checked my mailbox. I had a package, took that in the house, grabbed the van keys, and then went back out, down my front stairs, across the lawn to the van, got in the van, checked the headliner, everything. It's nice and dry. It's got 2 gaskets and stuff around the pipe, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't leaking. It wasn't, so we're good. I still got to, patch it up and stuff, but
put some silicone around it and all that just to make sure it's watertight.
Yep, once I get all done with everything. But yeah, so it's sealed. It wasn't leaking. We're all good. So I got out of the van, locked it back up, crossed my front sidewalk, up my stairs, onto my porch, and stepped in something squishy. and I lifted my foot and took a step back, and on my porch, right out from the door frame, is the entrails of an animal. And all right, so my first thought is, okay, so I stepped in something, right? And maybe I dragged it up there, on my boot. So I go back out and I retrace my steps with my flashlight on my phone. I look at everything. I can't find an animal. So that's kind of weird. And there's no body. It's just the intestines and I think it's the kidneys. So there's no blood, nothing. There's some, fecal matter and stuff spread around it and that. So I'm not sure how it got there. And I'm not sure how I didn't step in it the first time either. That I went in the house and back out and then back up there. So, we deal with a lot of weird stuff. And my first thought was that an animal had dragged it up on the deck. And when I came home, I scared it off.
Yep, and that would be my first thought, like stray cats, feral cats, stuff like that.
Yep, and looking into this, it seems that stray cats do this sometimes in the hopes that leaving the choice meat of the animals on a prospective person's doorstep, that they will take you in, or you'll take them in. So like a cat would leave this on someone's deck in the hopes that they'll take the cat in.
Yep, because cats see that as a gift.
Correct. Yep. So this is my first thought process. So I went inside and I put on latex gloves. I got a bag and I got paper towel and stuff. And I went out and I cleaned it up. And I ended up calling Derek. I tried calling Fathom first because she's more into the weird stuff like this. And to be honest, I mean, it just kind of, like, I wasn't scared or anything. It just kind of creeped me out because, like, why are there guts on my porch? And especially being that these are the guts that typical animals would eat,
Yes.
So it seemed a little out of place given the fact that, this is kind of what we've been dealing with, with the paranormal and stuff, that something may be sending me a message, So I just wanted to kind of have somebody there to talk to while I was dealing with this. So Fathom didn't answer, and I got a hold of Derek, so I'm talking to Derek and stuff. And I cleaned up all the pile. I put it in a bag next to the garbage can. And then I got my flashlight, my big flashlight, and I walked around kind of the block of my house, the neighbors' yards, the street in front of my house and everything. And I can't find a body. And that doesn't mean that this isn't, like an animal hiding under a bush or something, or, just dragged around from a couple blocks away.
Yep, or even picked up by a bird of prey, something like that.
Yep. So, after this is all cleaned up, I take Derek via video messenger to my surveillance system. And between me and Derek via Facebook video chat, we watched my security cameras from the time I left to the time I got home. Now, you know me, I believe all this stuff, but I'm not the type of person to jump to conclusions.
Yep.
And I'm not just going to say, well, it's paranormal because it's paranormal, I want it to be paranormal or whatever. My first thought, like I said, was an animal left it there. So, we're going to go to the video cameras. In the 12-hour span that I was not home, or from the time that I left to the time that I came home, we can't find any animal that crosses my porch.
No, and that's a solid state system. That's not a motion sensor, so it's always running.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it records. So if something, and I'll be honest, it doesn't point directly at the location I found this. It's just below the camera lens, focus, whatever, the screen. But I can see the front of my door, my mailbox, the walkway. So if something did go up there, it's possible, but they would have had to come up on the side of my deck over the railing, and then, because I have like solid side porch, it's not like open, so they'd have to come up over the top of it, past my garbage cans, drop it, and then leave the same way.
Yep.
Okay, so we're clear on that. No animal and no person, aside from my mailman, came anywhere near my porch. So that alone makes it a little bit weird, but still not out of the normal. Or, not, I don't know. This is where it gets even weirder. The hour from midnight until 1 a.m., only one of my cameras records.
That is weird. Well, have you ever had that issue before, or is that completely new?
I don't monitor my security cameras unless something happens, but recently, within the last 2 days, I've gone back and I've looked over the security cameras from different nights, different times and stuff, just kind of spot checking. No, it doesn't happen. It gets weirder. We'll stick to the hour here. During this hour, if you play it regular speed, the only camera that videotaped was the camera that is aimed closest to that spot.
Okay.
So my driveway camera's turned off, my side yard camera's turned off, my front walkway is turned off. The only camera that's recording is the one on the porch. So if anything would have crossed that, it should have showed up and been recorded. Now, if you watch that hour of footage, different spots during it, different times, it will freeze and restart the entire DVD system. If you play it at like 8 speed or 16 speed, it'll play straight through. Usually. But it will crash it and restart the entire device. Only during that hour.
That's really strange.
Now, for whatever reason, I can look at the file logs. And I realized this last night. I have the other 3 videos. And I've only gone through them once so far in entirety, because I just found these last night. But I can pull up the other 3 cameras, and they'll all sync up with the original camera, but you won't be able to watch all 4 at once. Any of those camera angles will also freeze and stop and restart the DVR. Any of the other hours on any other day, you can fast forward, rewind, watch, whatever you want. They don't have a problem, except for that hour.
And that makes no sense, because if it was a problem in the system, that would be a persistent problem.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking. Here's where it gets even better. Now, during the course of me and Derek's investigation, because we were both watching the cameras, we kind of fast forwarded. I believe we watched all 12 hours at, I think, 8 speed, just to kind of get through it faster. But you can definitely, you can see rabbits, you can see squirrels, you can see everything moving around on these things, birds flying across the camera and stuff. Nothing comes up on that porch.
Yep.
On the camera that's aimed at my front sidewalk, during the 9 o'clock hour on that day, the 23rd, there is a see-through entity that shows up and walks around in front of my house.
Huh.
It does not appear during any other time.
If you can, send me a screenshot of that after we're done with this.
I can do even better than that. I can send you a video.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I have it on video. It is definitely interesting. And I mean, this is why I say, like, I'm not one to jump to conclusions because guts showed up on my porch. But when you have other weird stuff happening,
you have supporting anomalies to the primary anomaly.
correct. Yeah. So I wish I would have. I have pictures of the gut pile on my deck, but I did not take pictures with a ruler for size comparison. I took a picture of the spot that it was in with a ruler the next day, but I don't have the actual original. I have video of the spot where it was from the time where I called Derek and started reviewing the video. I have everything for the next till 11 o'clock the next morning on video.
Okay.
So
I would assume the most likely donor for the organs would probably be squirrel or rabbit or mouse based on our local ecology.
Mm-hmm. I believe it's a mouse. A rabbit. Yesterday, I brought the package back in the house, and I gloved up, and I got a jar with some alcohol, and I rinsed off all the parts, and I videotaped this whole process, and have video evidence of every organ and gut and stuff that was in the pile, and then I placed them all in a jar and alcoholed it and sealed it. So we have the entire thing. This whole process I've been documenting. I have all of this, the security footage saved. I have the phone conversations with Derek and Fathom saved about it. So everything I have documented on this in case something gets more serious, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the correct way to go about it because, like, for me, I'm the most skeptical out of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And my first inclination is, okay, well, I know you've had stray cats before.
Yep.
So even now, I still lean towards stray cat, but when you have the supporting anomalies, it does even open me up a little bit more to other options.
Mm-hmm. And I had that possum under my deck back in January.
Yeah, so you definitely have wildlife coming on to your property.
Mm-hmm. But I had that possum on video.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there was a stray cat crossing the street during part of the video footage that we analyzed. But it doesn't come onto my deck. It goes to my neighbor's yard next door.
Okay, let's see. Your deck can be accessed underneath, correct?
It can be by animals, yeah.
Okay, why don't you take one of your trail cams and you set it up facing that side to see what comes in and out from under there? The side that's on the blind portion of the camera where it can't see.
Okay.
Leave it up there for like a week or so just to see what shows up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think, I did go back and record all this, the footage and that, and I'm going to go back over it again with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that there's nothing that comes on and off my deck. Because, like I said, that's my first instinct, is that this is just an animal.
Yep, yeah, just a cat that's living under your deck, got up there, it went the way it wasn't seen and just doing its thing.
Yep. But it's interesting because it would have had to scale the side of my porch, which is a good 6 feet tall, and then over the railing.
It's a big cat, that's not unheard of.
No, definitely not, no. But it's just bizarre for it to have come on the deck and off the deck and not,
And not go the easier route down after getting up there.
Or just be caught on video somehow.
Yeah, because they don't understand a video system. They don't know what a camera is, so they have no reason to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
They would just go about their business.
Also, it's interesting that I didn't step in it the first time I was on the deck.
Yes, because if you're anything like me, chances are, your path is virtually the same every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it leads me to believe that I'm looking at all the wrong spots, is that whatever happened while I was home and in between, well, if we're talking paranormal,
Yeah.
it
It
would have,
happened while you were in the van.
correct, yep. I came home, and here's something else that's interesting that I need to go back and I'm going to look more into. When I come home at 12:40, there's a rabbit in my front yard. And
Okay.
as my headlights scan across the front yard, the rabbit gets scared and runs. Now, I don't want to say this yet, but I believe the rabbit only shows up on one camera.
Okay.
The other camera, it's not there.
Did you note the temperature of the entrails when you discovered them?
I did not. Somebody else asked me that too. What I will tell you is that they were still wet because they
Okay,
left
so
a damp print on my deck. Now, when I stepped in them and stepped back, I left a goo of part of it at the edge of my deck. When I
Yep.
cleaned this up, I didn't clean that up. I didn't notice it. When I came back out 2 hours later, when I was talking to Derek, we were looking at some of the cameras and moving them and stuff. And the goo around the other incident and the original was dry.
Okay.
So I would say they were left there within probably a 2 hour window before I discovered them.
Yeah, so it was fairly fresh because if you would have had the temperature, then it would have been, looking up like what is the normal body temp of, a cottontail rabbit
Mm-hmm.
and comparing it to that, because then you might be able to, after doing the math, factor in a estimated time of death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I wish I would have done that, but like I have a thermal imager on my freaking phone.
Just didn't think of it.
Nope, I took pictures of it though. But yeah, I'll send you those too when we get done with this. But I do believe it's rabbit though, because the digestion stuff is like a green, like rabbit poop kind of.
Okay, yeah, and then if the size plays out, that's probably what you're looking at, because like squirrel organs are very small.
Yep. Well, these
rabbits are pretty beefy animals, surprisingly.
And there was some fur attached that was colored kind of similarly to a rabbit, so, and had the
Okay.
kind of texturing and stuff. So, yeah. So Fathom thinks that I have opened up myself to a hello from the other side, and that this is just kind of a we see you, we're watching you kind of thing.
Yep.
And I don't know. My stance right now, well, she thinks that more stuff is going to happen or could happen. And my basic thought right now is I would still say it's from an animal that left it, but I have no proof that it is or isn't. And the other anomalous video footage and stuff is just weird.
Yeah, because like me, I right now, without more evidence, I still strongly lean towards neighborhood animal.
Mm-hmm. There's also no damage to any of this stuff. There's no bite marks, no claw marks. It's all pretty solid. Aside from like, that I stepped on parts of it and that it got scraped off the deck into a bag. But I can tell you that that was from me, not some other animal.
Okay, yeah, because like I know in people, the intestines really aren't attached all that well. Besides their entrance and exits, they're pretty much just coiled inside you, so they actually come out really easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that from like gutting deer too and everything like that growing up. So it's not unheard of to where if the abdomen was open, it's really easy to disembowel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you would only see like the intestines and then maybe one or two support organs attached to them.
Mm-hmm.
Where everything else is cemented in the cavity a little bit better.
There's also, I believe, 2 rib bones.
Okay.
Or very small bones.
You would have to look at how they are broken to see if it was trauma or if it was more like purposely separated.
Yeah, they're kind of cartilaginous, and they're flat and curved, like a rib would be.
Okay, so definitely, yeah, like a carapace bone.
Yeah.
And I don't know the makeup of rabbits all that well. I just know they're a mammal, which most mammals are pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm. For the most part. I mean, you got weird things like cows, but...
Yep. But for the most part, it's the same system, same structure.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I've gathered all the data and stuff, and we'll probably be putting this out as an episode eventually. We're planning on doing a REM pod EMF investigation in the next couple days here out there via Facebook Live with Derek and Fathom. So
another thing I've thought about doing is taking like the REM pod, just leaving it down in our prep room while I'm working down there and just see if anything happens.
Yeah.
Because I don't lean that way, but I have had a couple of instances now where it's like you notice something out of the corner of your eye.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of gets your mind running like, okay, that's weird.
I've had that a lot at work. The other day I was it's kind of hard to explain. I was looking through a shelf working on a computer, and something small and black moved across the walkway over there on the other side of the shelf, and I thought it was like a piece of plastic. And when I went over there to look, because it kind of freaked me out, I'm like, where the hell did that go? And why didn't it move? Like whatever. If it was an animal, it should have shot out by my foot. Which is kind of what I thought it was. And I was like, oh, it's probably just plastic. I went around on the other side of the shelf, and there was nothing there.
Yeah, because I spend a lot of time in the basement by myself. I mean, I'm not really alone, but I'm the only living person there.
Yeah.
And it's just every once in a while, it'll just something out of the corner of your eye, and it's like, okay, well, I know none of the directors are down here, so what the hell?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Because with the way the doors are set up there, if one's opened, you absolutely hear it. There's no one sneaking in on you there by any chance.
You have a lot of like electrical equipment down there or anything?
Not really. Not besides your normal lights. That's about it.
Well, yeah, we'll have to see if can you record down there, or?
I'm sure I could. I'd have to clear it, but as long as I'm not like directly in the prep room, it'd probably be fine.
Or recording anything.
Yep.
If you set it on a cabinet or something and aimed it at the wall.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if it was just on like its own tripod facing right down at the REM pod, I'm sure that'd be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to look into that. That'd be interesting. Alright, well that's all I got for this week. I'll send you those videos here in a little bit and have you check them out. But
yeah, I'll check that out and see if I can figure out any more from that.
Cool. And like I said, we'll be putting all that together into a episode coming up later this year, and any other evidence that comes up from now until then, I kind of want to wait and see and do some investigating outside and see if anything wants to communicate. But
yeah, because right now we've got our hands tied, can't really do much at all, so do what we can.
Nothing like taking your work home with you.
Nope, and now I actually have neighbors that moved into that house next to us, and after they've been here for a while, I'm just going to kind of bring it up and see if they've had anything.
Sounds good. All right, man. Well, good talking with you again, and I'll get you that videos and pictures and stuff. See what you think. And anybody listening, if you guys have any encounters of your own and have any questions or anything, feel free to drop us an email or submit an encounter on our website. Our website is wisconsincaps.com, and our email is wisconsincaps@gmail.com. And if you have a specific question for any member of the team, let us know and we will forward it on to them. Until next time, I'm Barnaby.
And I'm Ethan.
And thanks for listening to Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. Have a good night. Bye.